Hello and welcome here to the newest edition of the Bobcat Buzz and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. I am so happy to be here, of course, Dan Tortora, aka DT, and for the first time ever we have Matt Sweet.
Hey.
Matt, welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Of the physical therapists, you know, wonderful assistance program here, and I'm very happy to have the PTA program on the spotlight and to have an opportunity to really talk about what you do and what it is. I know we talked off the air about some misconceptions and different pieces of that, so I love the fact that we get to talk about physical therapist assistance program here today, and I'm grateful that you're here.
Well, thanks for having me.
So let's go into the definition of what a physical therapist assistant is.
Well, I mean, obviously we assist physical therapy, but physical therapy is sort of multifaceted. It sort of has many different locations and genres, if you will, of where we sort of fit in. It could be an outpatient physical therapy for helping people with your sports injuries, athletics, that type of stuff. It could be your elder care. Could be for people who can't, get back to the activities of daily living that they normally do. Home care. We're even starting to get into some more of the industrial care and that type of thing, the ergonomics of stuff, and just helping people get back to life is what we do.
You know, and for this world of physical therapy, to be an assistant in this world of physical therapy, there's an importance to this job, an importance to this role. That's why we're talking about the PTA program here at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. So how would you define what it is to be in this physical therapist assistant program and what it means to be an assistant, and then maybe some misconceptions?
Yeah, so obviously I'll start with being an assistant, right? So a lot of people, when they go into physical therapy, assume everybody's a PT.
Yeah.
And quite often it's a PT-PTA team that works together. So for physical therapy, to get a DPT, a doctor in physical therapy, you go for 6 years minimum. It's a pretty rigorous process. For someone who's in the PTA program or physical therapist assistant, it's usually a 2 years or less program, and it's an associate's level.
Okay.
But we do a lot of the same things. The only part we really are not included in is the evaluation process.
Okay.
So the interventions, which could be anything from range of motion, balance, pain control, you name it, we're involved in it. And even the evaluation process, we understand how that works. We just don't perform that exclusively. That was just the PTs.
So when someone's looking at this program, what do you find to be the misconception?
Well, I think everybody assumes that it's just either all about outpatient therapy, or all about working in a nursing home, or they don't know about all of the availability. They also don't understand that we're just as crucial in the process. It's not just like we're folding towels and doing wash, and we're a crucial cog to that whole operation. In fact, a lot of times you'll find a lot of the directors of these places to be PTAs as well. So.
Okay. And that's, as we're talking about this PTA program at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, in this edition of Bobcat Buzz on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, to jump over those misconceptions, right, and to really know the team, because I've gone for physical therapy before, and I just like anybody else, you just assume that these people are physical therapists, and there might be a team of 3 people working with me, but I don't know who is what.
Right.
So the importance of, and like you said, this is a 2 years or less, it's an associate's degree. When you leave Bryant Stratton with this, though, what can you do? How can you help immediately?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, it's a very hands-on process to get to the point of becoming a physical therapist assistant. So we do a lot of labs that require you to learn the skills you're doing, right? So if you go through a lot of other avenues of education, you learn about the theories. Now, we learn about the theories, but we're learning about the theories and then doing them a lot of times in the same setting. So we have a pretty big lab where we go through how to do, say we're talking about range of motion. We would do range of motion activities on each other. and learn that. And then we take it to the clinical level. So you do 4 clinicals throughout your process, right? So we do 2 part-time while you're doing your education process, and then we do 2 end ones at the end. So the 2 end ones are full-time, so you're learning on the job with a licensed physical therapist or physical therapist assistant. So you're getting a lot of the on-the-job training, and a lot of times our clinical sites are hiring our students because they know how qualified they come in and that they've done the job right there.
Yeah, you know, and like you said, clinical, a huge part of this, right? With anything in this realm of patient care, to get hands-on experience. And like you said, that, you know, when they go and they do these clinicals, and your students here on campus at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse get involved, that a lot of these places are hiring them. So what can you say to that, how Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse is a bridge between the student getting experience and the student getting a job?
Yeah, so basically we take a lot of individuals that are very customer oriented, right? So maybe they had jobs in sales, maybe they had jobs in other healthcare avenues, and then we teach them the skills needed to be a successful medical professional. And then we take them through the whole process to licensure, and then get them the job. You know, we're essentially a career-oriented field, meaning there's no, well, you might be this, you might be that. You're going to be a PTA if you get through our program successfully, and we're going to ensure that you do that if you follow our steps.
How successful would you say this program is in job placement?
We're 100% right now. In fact, I got people calling me every day asking me for PTAs, and the demand couldn't be any higher than it's been today.
In the world of healthcare, we have seen an influx of people needed, as well as people going to school for different things. Do you get a sense of that still from when everything started with the pandemic in 2020 to now here in the latter part of 2022? Do you still get a sense of that not only do they want your students, but overall in healthcare, there's still an influx of send us whoever you have?
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you enough about how impressed a lot of the employers out there are with our graduates, but that they keep saying, how can we help to get you more students in? Because we need more employees, and the demand is higher and higher every day. You know, with the baby boomer generation sort of becoming older, between us becoming more active, you know, in terms of an athletics standpoint, it couldn't be any more needed. I mean, some of the local colleges, I was first an athletic trainer, and I still do function as that on the side, but they are even lacking in their coverage too. And so they've started to actually send a lot of athletes out to the outpatient clinics because they don't have enough time or the manpower, just like we're trying to get more manpower out there.
So for this program, what do you do different things? Do you do any job fairs? How do you try to reach people, like you said, somebody that may not have thought in healthcare before, to be a PTA before, but is good, like you said, in different areas that you can train to shift over? How do you reach out to the community?
Well, I mean, obviously we're really making a concerted effort to get out to the high schools and educate about the profession from the beginning, and tell them that there's multifaceted avenues to how you can get into the healthcare field, right? I think, you know, back when I was in school in the Stone Age, we didn't have as much of the internet to sort of inform us about where you could go, right? We thought it was like doctor, nurse, somebody that rehabs somebody, and you know, a few things, but we didn't realize that there's physical therapy, and then there's occupational therapy, and there's speech therapy, and then there's the assistants all under them, and they're all crucial pieces. So I think we're really trying to get out there and do that. We're also trying to make more of a social media push. You know, now especially with the generation of myself and younger, we're starting to go a little bit away from the TV and straight FM radio. Now we're on the streaming and podcasts and YouTube, and we're really trying to make that push of getting out there in the media. And I think we're also in the mode of trying to do that also with our education, right?
Yeah.
We probably use YouTube, you know, every day to bring something to light of, hey, this is what this looks like for a concept we're talking about.
Yeah, and through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and this exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, we have, and I'm going to try to get them all here, folks, Amazon, Audible, we have MixLR, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, a lot of different avenues, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Alexa, your Google Home devices. You can ask them to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And then we're live on Facebook as well as YouTube and MixLR, all.com/WakeUpCallDT, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we have our social media. We have Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. We are on TikTok and some other places as well. So, I've been very advantageous in the internet. I jumped into the internet world. My former producer, I want to say like maybe 12 years ago now, he said, hey, I know you're on AM radio, but why don't you just do this? Why don't you just try it? Throw some stuff on there. And then we did that, and we started a site, which was dtshow.net at the time. And then I created WakeUpCallDT.com. And I was working on an AM station here when I moved back from Florida. And in that process, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me put some stuff on the internet. And I never thought I would do this, but I left AM radio on purpose and started my company podcasting when people were like, what is that? Is it just for nerds? Nobody listens. Nobody understands it. And now there's like over 600,000 just on Podbean, which we started with. So, it's been very advantageous to reach out with someone instantaneously. What we're doing right now is available on all these avenues, and it will be for you to hear from Matt Sweet. So I think that's a beautiful thing that you're trying to move with the times here and find people wherever they are. I always tell people we make it extremely hard for you to miss us. And I'd rather do that. Instead of being hard to find, be hard to miss, right? We're on 13 different outlets, go find one of them. So, in that case of being so advantageous, why Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse for you? What is it about the mission here, the vision here, the leadership that makes you want to spread this PTA program's message specifically?
Well, I think we've always tried to stay on the cutting edge of things. We're progressive, we're constantly changing the nuances to our curriculum in terms of really trying to keep up with the modern times. So I'm real career oriented. So we're teaching a lot of stuff based on what's going on out there. So if you go out there, I'm in touch with all of our graduates and I'm saying, hey, what is it that we missed? What is it that we did right?
Yeah.
I'm keeping track of that, and between myself and our program director, Dr. Nielsen, we're really trying to make sure we're keeping it focused to the career, right? We get a lot of non-traditional students. Anywhere from, we've had as old as 60 all the way down to 20.
Yeah.
But we really want to just cut aside some of the fluff and really focus it in on this is what you need to know. Yeah. And I think that's sort of Bryant Stratton's mission, is making sure that we get people ready for a career, not just a total education, where you're just, we're going to take a humanities and a karate class, and you're taking the classes that are immediately needed for a career and a job. And as you can see, jobs are aplenty, and we need lots of employees out there. So.
Yeah, and I know when it comes to healthcare, and when I've gone through injury myself, that there is a very, very clear line of difference between the physical therapy world that didn't help me and the world that did.
Absolutely.
And there's a reason why I chose to go back to certain people over and over again and couldn't wait to run out of the building in other cases. So if I walked in, say today, I'm going to get physical therapy and I'm going to work on my knee. What's a typical day where I would see a PTA with a PT? How would that go about? If I'm going in and I got a few exercises with my knee, and I'm going to maybe have them, they're going to ultrasound it, maybe put some ice, this, that, and whatever. Where does my PTA come in?
So actually the PTA comes in, so usually your first visit's always the evaluation.
Yeah.
Right after that evaluation, the PTA could actually step right in.
Okay.
And in fact, we're so short of PTs in the PT realm that a lot of times they're using PTs exclusively for the evaluation. So the PTA stepping in right off the bat, they're going to be doing the range of motion, the modalities you spoke about, ultrasound, electrical stim, laser, all those things. Those are all stuff that we train people in and how to use. Therapeutic exercise, probably the most underutilized of the things we do, because it's not about, hey, I'm going to set you up on this machine. Like, I think that was the 80s way of doing physical therapy. And now I'm like, all right, I might use that machine, but I'm gonna make it a certain way that you're really targeting what I want to target with it, right? I'm also gonna do stuff that isn't just a passive approach, right? Like, yeah, I can stretch in, that's me doing it, but I'm gonna teach you how to keep yourself better, right? Because we all know that time is money and money is time, and we really need to make sure that we're valuing that. And I teach my students, how do you, like, you know, say you have a couple visits to get you better. How can I teach you so that when this happens, you're like, all right, I know what to do. They taught me how to do this. This isn't like, hey, I need to see you for 50 visits. It's get you better and get you back to what you want.
And it's funny that you bring that up, because I was in places where they said, I'm going to put you on this machine, and they walked away for 20 minutes.
Right. Oh, that's so frustrating. And I think that's one of the other pieces. Like, you know, all of the physical therapist assistant programs out there have a curriculum or a base curriculum that's all set by our governing board CAPTE, right? But under that umbrella, we're allowed to sort of create what we need to meet those needs. And I think customer service has been the number one thing we need to do is we have to show the value, right? So when you go into the ER, nobody chooses to go in the ER. It's usually like you got to go there immediately. Physical therapy, other than when you're in the hospital debilitated, has become what I call an ancillary service. Like, it's your choice who you want to go to, how long you want to go. If you want to discharge tomorrow, that's your choice. And we need to make it so it's a no-brainer. Hey, I need to go see him because I know that he's going to give me value and not, you know, set it and forget it.
And it's extremely important, and for everybody out there to understand, as I have to learn this the hard way sometimes, is what they teach you and they tell you to go home and do that, go home and do it. Don't just do it when you're there and think, I don't have time and they're going to do it better. No. If they give you something, they tell you go home, try this, do it. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, half an hour, do what they ask you to do. It is your body is your temple, it is your car, and you need to make sure that car has its engine cleaned, and then you got to make sure you check the oil, you got to make sure you put gas in it. So do the things that you need to do. Before we get into rapid fire, which is how we're going to end this and have a little bit of fun here with Matt Sweet from the PTA program, the Physical Therapist Assistance program here at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. What are you most passionate about of the job that you get to do? Why do you do it every day?
Well, I can tell you that I practiced in the field for many years, and then I got into this, and I wasn't really sure if this was going to be my calling, but I got to tell you, I love seeing the success of my students once they get out of here. And it starts to happen through the clinicals we send them on. And then once they're out there employed and they tell me, Matt, everything you said was going to happen has happened, and I can't thank you enough. That means a lot to me. And I mean, it keeps me coming back. And I realized this back when I had, you know, when you're in clinic, when you work in the clinic, you might take on a student, right? And that's one person. Well, when I get to take on many students and I'm putting them out throughout the community and I'm hearing the success they're having, boy, I mean, that brings joy to my heart. So,
well, very awesome answer. And obviously, you know, people connect on emotion, right? We buy an emotion. We want to work with people that we like working with. Professionally and personally, it's on the emotion of how those people make you feel. And you being fed by the success of your students says a lot about you, and it says a lot about what you're doing for them. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So rapid fire is the final piece of our Bobcat Buzz here. We've done it on Wake Up Call for many, many years. Gives me an opportunity to get to know you a little bit better, you and everybody else to get to know me. We have nothing planned here. This could be anything. Could be about sports, could be about healthcare, could literally be about movies, music, whatever we want it to be. 3 questions apiece.
Right.
You get to ask me first.
Okay. Favorite sports team?
Of what sport?
Let's go football.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Really?
Since the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah. Still cover them, and I fly down to Jacksonville, do all the home games. So I was just there for a very unfortunate game recently I want to talk about with the Texans. Andre Cisco from Syracuse, shout out to you. Riley Patterson from Memphis, who I covered when he was at Memphis. And to Evan Engram. You guys were great after the broadcast, or after the game, to be a part of the show, so thank you for that. Fantastic locker room. They know they need to do better, and yeah, hopefully they will. So that's my answer. My first question for you, if you could have any actor play you in a movie about your life, who would you pick and why?
Well, I don't know why, but obviously we share the same name. Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
He just has that, he can play whatever. Yeah. I've seen him play so many different roles that I feel like he can just
sort of humming role.
Right. You just and he's got that comical, not that I represent him or anything, but I just feel like he could watch me for probably a couple days and then be able to copy my mannerisms, although everybody in my life would probably say my son, because they say that we walk the same, we do some of the same mannerisms.
How old is your son?
My son's 13.
13, and his name?
Caden.
Caden. Shout out to Caden. So, awesome. That's great. And it's cool to have a mini-me, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it is.
What's your second one for me?
All right. You said you were injured before.
Yeah.
What did you injure in?
Injured my right knee, and it was in a freak accident at Disney, and somebody was very callous in how they left something on the floor. We work in a very dark place, and I slid on it. I'm very good on my feet, thank you God, and I didn't fall, but I kind of locked up my knee, and I didn't break anything, I didn't tear anything, no broken bones, no torn ligaments, nothing. So I just have kind of had to be cognizant of it and work on it every single year, and just know the days where it feels a certain way and what I need to do to strengthen my legs. But my legs have always been strong, so it's kind of like certain areas that I have to work on. But yeah, it was a freak accident in a place that had some very horrible leadership, and to the point where one of my managers said, "I don't need to take a report because I'll remember it in my head," and it's illegal to not take a report. So that's great. Yeah, that's been fun. It's been fun. So, okay, my second one for you. What injury would you be most excited to work on, and why?
Well, I mean, my students would probably say that, ACLs are my passion. I've treated a ton of them. I've been blessed to get referred by a lot of different physicians in this area to treat a whole bunch of them. I think they're fun to me, not because of the exact injury, but because generally speaking, these people that have torn them had something they really wanted to get back to. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And it's been everything from the recreational athlete to the professional athlete. Yeah. And seeing them having to craft it to their needs, right? Yeah. So sometimes I got to get them ultra strong. Sometimes it's about flexibility and really establishing how much they need to get back to what they were. Yeah. And then sometimes it's about just trying to get them back to an active lifestyle. I remember, my first time I had an ACL repair of a mother, right? So she had kids, and she had tried recreational skiing and didn't work out too well for her, and she ended up in my office, and I remember saying, "Listen, I'm going to get you back to where you don't get up and think about that knee anymore, but do what I say, and we're going to get you to what you need." So I'd say that's probably my top one that I look forward to.
Is there a reason why, when they say it takes a year for an ACL, why we've seen some people like Adrian Peterson come back in 8 months?
I wish I had an exact scientific reason, but I can tell you this, right? So just like their ability to be able to run, strengthen, and perform athletic feats like that, their bodies are optimally tuned, right? Okay. And that's my number one thing, right? I'd get the recreational athlete who'd come in and they'd be like, "All right, I need to get back in 5 months," and I'd be like, "All right, where'd you get that idea from?" And they're like, "Well, Jerry Rice or Adrian Peterson or any one of these guys," and I think also, no surgeon wants to crush their dreams, so they're like, it's possible.
Yeah.
And then it gets put on us, and I'm like, all right, so you see how you can't do that. We need to pull it back a little bit. I want to make sure you're not back in my office again.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, they once, they had at a National Athletic Training Conference I went to, they had Adrian Peterson as the guest appearance for the SwimX, which is an underwater treadmill.
Oh, okay.
The guy was just, I mean, you just looked at him and you're like, this guy was sculpted like a Greek god. I mean.
Yeah. So, built different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
Fair
You
enough.
got it.
What's your last one?
All right. Are you from this area, and have you wanted to stay in this area your whole life, or do you foresee other areas?
So I am from Syracuse, born and raised on the north side. Like, I don't even know, 8 minutes from campus right here, if 8 minutes. And so my family's always been here, grandparents, both sides, my parents. And I was here, and then I went to school at Marywood University in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Moved after graduating to Dunmore, PA, down the road from Marywood, and worked at ESPN there. Then came back here, worked at ESPN, then went down in Orlando, Florida at Kissimmee, worked at ESPN and Disney, and then came back here and started my company after working for another station up here. So I would say that, I mean, yeah, I'm born and raised here. Yes, I've left. Florida is my second home professionally and personally, and y'all know that. I love the Sunshine State. So hope you're all staying safe, and my best to everybody that's repairing, and God willing, no lives were lost down in the great state of Florida, especially my big shout out to Fort Myers and everybody down there. So, yeah, I mean, I love the Carolinas, and I do work down there. I love Florida. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. I've never been a person that says I gonna stay. Like, I know that as I've gotten older, I know that God laughs at your plans. And I couldn't stand when somebody told me that when I was like 16. But now at 36, I say exactly what people said to me, which is tell God your plans and he will laugh at you. So if I had married who I wanted to marry, I would have been in trouble. If I had not been open to moving, I would have been in trouble. So I don't think I could have gotten back here to start my company more than 10 years ago if I didn't live in Pennsylvania and Florida. So the only thing I've said I would never do is buy a minivan, and I'm going to stay true to that. But beyond that, yeah, I don't pigeonhole myself, so I don't know where I'm going to end up. I do know that there was a concern a few months ago that there was a chance that I was going to like leave the area because I had been dating someone at the time. They lived in a different state. We're no longer dating, but I had a couple of the businesses that I work with going, well, you're not going anywhere, are you? And I was like, wait, you want me to be here? And they're like, well, yeah. And it made me feel good that they were like trying to tell me like stay. And so, I mean, I love Syracuse. I love my hometown. I have the best of both worlds. Florida is my second home. I travel all the time, and I get to be, anyway, so I get to be in my hometown and see the world. And I get to do both. So I am very blessed. I'm very thankful to God. I work very hard, and I love where I'm at, so I don't think I would, I'm not going to say I won't think I would change it. I love it here, and I will always take what I built here and keep it, but I don't want God to laugh at me, so I won't tell him that I'm definitely whatever, but I do know that I came back here for a reason. I'm happy I did. So my final one for you, Matt. Well, with a last name of Sweet, what are your 3, like, sweet tooth things you have to have?
Well, believe it or not, I guess I'm more of a savory person, you know? So, I love French fries.
Okay.
I mean, you know, that would be my my Lenten give up all the time. And believe it or not, like, it was harder because it comes with like everything around here.
Yeah, it does.
So my wife would laugh as I'd give up I'd give up fries and have to order broccoli with my burger, you know.
Yeah. What kind of, do you have a favorite fry place? Are you
no.
like a waffle fry Chick-fil-A?
Well, I do. I love my Chick-fil-A. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But I love like a meaty fry. You know, I
Okay.
don't love like where you bite in and there's hardly anything there.
So you like a potato
Yeah, like
wedge.
I had like steak fries last night.
Yeah,
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say secondly, I'm a Diet Dew fan. Like so,
Okay. All right.
You know, I really like the ting of soda more than anything. So that's why I've tried to do like more of the waters, like the seltzers and stuff more, just
Yeah.
because I'm not, you know, ingesting Diet Dew all the time like I
Yeah.
did in college.
Yeah.
And then I just love steak. I mean, steak is amazing. It's just.
Do you have a steak spot?
I don't have a steak spot, but I've been outside the area at a couple
Okay.
places. Like when we went to Orlando a long time ago, back when I was with Syracuse. We went to the steakhouse down there. It was a la carte. It had the most amazing steak I've ever had in my life. I mean,
Yeah. I will tell you that Disney does all their meat right too, and they have like they have like short rib and whatever, and like you just hit it and it just breaks.
yeah.
And
yeah.
like I mean, literally, you can cut your steak with a fork, like you don't have to cut it with a knife. So yeah, Disney does it well. And I do want to shout out right down the road from Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, because I just went here for my dad's retirement party. Shout out, Pop. 317 Montgomery, their short rib was the closest to Disney I've ever had, which is a massive compliment. So
Nice. So maybe
very
I'll have
good.
to try it.
I asked him because we got like different small plates like throughout the party. And I said, how do I get more of this? He said, you come back for dinner. So
I guess
good
that'll-
sale, Joel. Good sale. And I will be. So with that being said, for Matt Sweet of the PTA program, the Physical Therapist Assistance Program here at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, for myself, Dan Tortora, and this edition of the Bobcat Buzz. You'll find your Bobcats every single month exclusively here with us on Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse's exclusive multimedia marketing partnership on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. For now, as I always tell you, God bless, no stress, do your best. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate
Thank you.
I'll talk with you soon.